In this video, I'm going to show you how to use self-leveling floor compound, and this is the Mapei Self Leveler Plus, and this is going to be a DIY job. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Josh. This channel is all about DIY to save a ton of money, so be sure to subscribe, ring that bell so you get notification every time I release a new video, and hammer that like button for me. That's all I ask in return for making this video. So we got a lot to go over today, so let's get started. The first step that I recommend that you do is check and see just how out of level your floor is. This floor leveler is only good for up to 1 inch, and it cannot be any thinner than 1/8. So that is something that's going to be critical, because if it's out of level more than 1 inch, we're going to have to address the subfloor or concrete in this case before we actually use the floor leveler. So to do that, we're going to use this laser level. But if you don't have a laser level, you can use a 4-foot level and you can check that way. But I definitely recommend this because this room is relatively large. It's 16 foot long and 8 foot wide. So to get an accurate measurement, definitely use a laser level. If you'd like to check this out, I'll put a link to it in the description below so you can pick it up for yourself. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on, and we're going to check just how out of level we have here. Now that the laser level is on, it's casting a green level laser line around the room. To check the center, all we have to do is take our tape measure. Let's say right here, we got 25.5 inches. Now we need to check another area. Over here, we got 25.5 light. So it's just a little less. So that's pretty close to the same level plane here. Now let's go check over here. Back here in this corner, we got 25.75 inch. Because it's 25.75 to the laser and that was 25.5 over here, that means there's a 1/4 inch difference. So if we pour the floor leveler right here, it's going to go from nothing on this end and taper over to a 1/4 inch deep here. So that falls within range of the 1 inch thickness. So we're good in this area. So I'm going to go around the room, just double check to see how thick we're going to have our floor leveler before we get started. Then we're going to prep the surface. Okay, after taking measurements, it looks like we're going to have about 3/4 inch thickness by the time we hit the lowest points. And the highest point is back here next to this door. So as we work pouring this self-leveling floor leveler, we're going to work from this end back till we exit out this door. Because the self-leveling compound is more or less like a liquid, it's going to run out everywhere you pour it at. So because of that, this is a ledge here. It would simply roll over next to this pressure tank, and we're going to build a wall around this and cover this up. But we need to place something here to dam it up. So we're going to start with the sole plate of this wall. And this is something that can be used even if this wasn't going to be a wall here. You could use this as a temporary dam. But we're going to just secure this to the wall first to hold it into place. And you need to make sure whatever you use here, it's thicker than the depth of the floor leveler. This is 1.5 inches, so it's plenty. Like we said, we only need about 3/4 inch at most. So that's good. And we need to make sure we seal around this edge. I'm just going to use simple painter's caulk to seal around this edge. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's going to be under the floor just as long as it seals up, so you don't have a lot of seepage with that floor leveler. Also, we need to make sure we caulk even around the crack under this drywall. Anywhere we have potential for this to leak out needs some caulking. And if you have any large holes, you can simply use spray foam. Spray foam is also great to seal it up as well. Just as long as we create a dam for this floor leveler to dam up and settle in, that's the key. In this door opening, the garage is here, and this is going to be finished space where we're putting the floor leveler. I'm going to dam this up on this side of the wall, so that way when we install the door, it's going to be sitting on a level surface. That should do it. Now that our dams are in place, I'm just going to seal up around the edge of the wall with the caulking, and then we're going to prime the floor. To begin prepping the floor surface, we're going to shop vac the whole surface really well, very important. And if you have any big humps or bumps that need knocked off with a belt sander or concrete grinder first, that's great. Do that now as well before doing the shop vac. But this process is very straightforward. We're just going to vacuum, and it's going to look real nice, Clark, after we're done. According to the manufacturer instructions, concrete surfaces must be mechanically profiled before placing the floor leveler onto the surface. But I just made sure I got all the wax and any type of grease or anything off the floor and cleaned it well before installing the floor leveler. But be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions. If you're enjoying this video, you may enjoy my free PDF. It's a floor leveling checklist, and I'll put a link to it in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. When using the floor leveler made by Mapei, they recommend priming the subfloor first. If we were going to use this primer on a subfloor that's wood, we would just use this right out of this bottle, and we would not dilute it at all. Because we're using this on a porous surface such as this concrete, we're actually going to mix it 50-50. So it's going to be 50% primer and 50% water, which is a 1-to-1 ratio. And we're going to just pour this into this pail first, and then we're going to use the exact same amount. We're going to fill up the container to dilute it. We'll begin by pouring it into a clean container. And this was just an old bucket that looks like it was called Lucky Buck. So it can be any bucket, doesn't have to be a Lucky Buck bucket. And you can see it's a thick pink color. I'm going to use the empty container to fill it up with water totally, and then use that to pour into the primer. And this is a bucket of clean water here, and we're just going to pour this into this bucket. I'm going to stir this up really well for 3 to 5 minutes. I have a 3/8 nap roller, and we're going to pour the diluted primer into this paint tray. And that's what we're going to use, just like painting a wall, except we're going to paint the floor with the primer. This is pretty straightforward. You probably don't need any instruction on this. We're just going to paint and prime the floor with the primer. And don't be afraid to be liberal with it. You'll notice the brush marks in this concrete's going this way, so rolling in the direction of those marks is ideal. And I highly recommend knee pads while doing it like this. You could also use an extension pole if you didn't want to get down like this, but I like to get personal with my work here. After you're done applying the primer, you can clean up your tools using water, which is a great feature to this primer. Before moving on to the next step, we must allow this to dry for 2 to 5 hours before continuing to the floor leveler. In order to calculate how many bags you need per 50-pound bag, this document came from the manufacturer, but an 1/8 inch thickness will give us 48 square feet, a 1/4 inch will give us 24 square feet, 1/2 inch will give us 12 square feet, and 1 inch will give us 6 square feet of coverage. So this would be a good reference, and always add 10 or 15% more than what you actually need for waste. In order to mix up the Self Leveler Plus, I have a 5-gallon bucket. I have 5 quarts of water, and we have this marked so we know we can fill it up to that mark and get 5 quarts each time, because each bag of Self Leveler requires 5 quarts of water. We're going to pour the water into the bucket first. We're then going to pour in the Self Leveler as we mix it up with this mixer. You definitely need a power mixer of some kind. You can use a 1/2 inch drill with a mixing blade on it. I have an actual mixer, and I'll put a link to this in the description below as well. And I also have my hand float here. As we start pouring, we're going to make sure that we push it around where we need it. You can also get other tools to do this. It's not anything that you really need to spend a lot of money on. You can also use just standard trowel. But we're going to also make sure we wear a respirator while mixing this. You definitely don't want to breathe in this dust. We're going to mix up this in the 5-gallon bucket, and then start pouring it from this back corner, and he's going to mix it up as I keep pouring so we can keep it flowing. We are now mixed up, and as you can see, it's a very liquid mixture here. This compound is meant to be liquid like that, so it self-levels. All right, I'm going to start here in the back corner. And I know ultimately, after getting different measurements, we need to have at least a 1/2 inch thickness back here. So I'm just going to start pouring this out and then just pushing it into the sides of the walls as we go. Again, this stuff's very liquid-like, so you shouldn't have to mess with it too much, but you definitely need to spread it. And we're just going to start from this back and work towards the highest point to the other side of the room. You can see that it's flowing by itself and that it's self-leveling, but I need to expedite this process because we've got a large room. So I'm just going to take my float and just kind of push it up along the wall and work it out just to speed it up. And now we're just going to keep pouring and working it around the room as we go. Because I was more familiar with pouring this in a small bathroom and it will self-level and no problem and it does not dry very quick, this was a learning curve because this large area was setting up during the different times I poured between buckets because there were some slow mixing times between. And because of that, it did not blend well from bucket to bucket and it caused issues with air pockets for one. And that's where I'm assuming the air bubbles came from. Later on in this video, I will show you those. And for two, the sunlight was causing it to dry quick. And another problem was the vent blowing across the floor, which was causing the surface to dry. Right here, he's trying to work that out. And we do end up fixing this later in this video, but where I'm pouring now, it all blended together well and there was really no issues after it's set up. It was mainly from where we began the pour. A technique I could have used on this large floor was place screws in the middle of the floor to act as grade pins, so as I poured, I was at the proper depth and would not have to wait for it to self-level in order to get the proper level grade. And if it was on a wood subfloor, I could just use simple finish nails to act as grade pins. I'm back here the next day. Let's see what it's like. And it feels really good and solid. I like it. I did notice a few bubbles come up to the surface. I'm assuming that's from where the floor was rough and had some trapped air and it came up through, I assume. But other than that, it looks really good. But I want to check to see just how level this all turned out overall before I get started to the next step. Over here we got about 26 light. We got 26 here. Okay, much better than it was. Here in this area, we noticed right when we were finishing up the pour that it did look like it needed blended together. So we put a little water here because it was trying to dry on the surface because this vent was drying the surface quicker than the other section. So it kind of caused an issue of not blending together well, because if you remember in the video, it went around this way, kind of hit this towards the end. So it was enough time to cause just a layer of finish to harden on the top. Not really harden, but thicken. And because of that, we put a little water here to try to blend it. We have a little dip right here that we got to fill in. So we could definitely put some more primer here and use floor leveler, but I'm going to try something different that's probably going to be cheaper. Before filling this in, I'm going to mark the void on the floor so that way we don't get into this section of flooring and just keep running it and trying to level the whole area. We just want to fill this void in, so I'm going to put marks on the floor. I want to place this level here. You can clearly see there's just probably about a little over an 1/8 inch gap here that I need to fill. Right here, the level is sitting perfectly level. So how I'm going to mark the floor, I'm going to mark right here at the end of the level. Then right here where it comes down to nothing. And then I'm going to just mark that through this section. Okay, so we know we need to make enough to fill in this little dip here. So this is just kind of a mess up that I'm trying to show you how I'm going to fix. So if you run into this, you can do it too. If we were pouring in a little bathroom, you would never have an issue like this because it's such a big room. This is the issue we ran into, but you know, that's where you learn from your mistakes. I'm going to mix up thin set, and that's what we're going to use to fill in that void. This wood here, right to that underlayment, and for no thicker than it is, it's going to be really about perfect for this situation. And it's way cheaper than floor leveler. All we have to do is mix this up to a peanut butter-like consistency, let it set for about 5 minutes, then remix it up. All right, that looks really good, peanut butter-like consistency. Okay, the idea here is pretty straightforward. I'm going to take the thin set, fill in the void. I got a scrap piece of material here with a straight edge on it, and we're going to use that just to go across the void and fill it in, just as if you're finishing concrete going over from form board to form board. Got a 4-inch knife here, just getting it spread across the floor. I'm just going to take this up to the lines we made. A trowel would have been good here, but we only had the drywall knife on hand. I'm going to take the straight edge and just go across that. I'm going to level it out. Using the thin set is only $8 a bag, to where the floor leveler is $30 a bag, so it is way cheaper to do this. If it wasn't for price, I would have just used primer over this underlayment and then floor leveler because it was much easier. I am a person that does not like to spend more money than I have to. You can see that thin set filled that void in really well. It's nice and smooth looking. We're going to let this dry for about 24 hours. And then we're going to address those little bubbles that came up through the surface along to finalizing the surface before we install our laminate flooring over this. And we can install tile or luxury vinyl or whatever we want right over this. So that's definitely a good thing about this underlayment. I'm back here the next day. It's been 24 hours since we patched the void in the floor, and it looks really good. That thin set was definitely the key here. I'm going to take a 8-inch drywall knife and just scrape any little humps or bumps that's on it. And that's going to be something easily done using a drywall knife or a putty knife. And a couple of these bumps on the floor, we're going to scrape those off too. I thought it was important to mention, if that thin set was setting up for longer than 24 hours, it would not be able to scrape as easy. So definitely hit that as soon as possible. Fixing the air bubble issue that I encountered was a simple fix. All I had to do was take my drywall knife and scrape them off. Really simple, really quick to fix. And it was really not a problem at all after it was all said and done. I have this document for the Self Leveler Plus, and I think this kind of indicates some of the issues I had, so I thought it was important to go over this with you. I'm going to begin here at 2. Before installation, close all the doors and windows, turn off HVAC system. And I think that was part of the reason why it cured so quick, and protect the areas from direct sunlight. So that was definitely one of the issues why it set up too quick and caused some of the issues I had as far as having to fill in that void for one. 3, for best results, it says it provide continuous workflow with the wet material to avoid trapping air or creating cold joints between the batches. So that, again, I think that was part of the reason why we had some of the trapped air. Another reason here, if we look at 6, do not overwork the material. That could trap air. I don't feel like I overworked the material. Again, it was an aggressive broom finish on that concrete, which could have trapped air as well. So there was a handful of things there I thought was important to go over, and I think where it has the flow time for about 10 minutes, I really don't think that I was more than 10 minutes between the buckets, but I'm not sure if that really caused any issues or not. Again, make sure you read the instruction thoroughly before doing the floor leveler so you can avoid the issues that I had. Now that the floor is scraped, everything looks really good and flat. I'm just going to shop vac this area before starting the flooring. I'm going to remove this dam that we placed before we did the floor leveler. This door opening illustrates how well that leveler works. You can see it made it perfectly level after it's set up. Installing the luxury vinyl right over the underlayment and the void that we patched was very easy. It was just like installing it over any typical floor, except now we have a nice flat level surface to install it on. And I'd like to mention, it was definitely not a problem with the product as far as the issues we ran into. It was simple user error, so definitely a great product. You should check it out for yourself. All right, all I can say is wow, this floor turned out great. That floor leveler was definitely a night and day difference between before and after. And with the little bit of patching we did here in this void, definitely well worth it. Everything is flat and level, really nice floor. If you'd like to see a detailed video on installing luxury vinyl, check out this video. It'll help you out.